Welcome back to World Weekly News. This week we have one major story and the event vehicles, the final 3 for the Operation Frost. So be sure to hit that subscribe button because this big story is a real big one for reasons you may not understand for the beginning. Although I think the title will probably give it away. So coming at you from DMM, the Japanese company that has partnered with Gaijin to assist them in hosting Japanese servers for War Thunder, and as well as gaining information on Japanese vehicles to add to War Thunder, they made a big old page announcing that the F-4EJ is being added to War Thunder. To fans of the Japanese air tree, this may be rather exciting. They finally get a top-tier jet that can really compete. To most other people, it probably won't be that exciting because it's just another F-4. The thing is, this isn't just another F-4. The plane itself, from what I've heard, is much better than the usual F-4E, and this might even be a further version of the F-4EJ, so it could be even more advanced, as the translation refers to it as the F-4EJ revised, but that's Google Translate, so it could mean a lot of things. So the first thing we have to think is, how is this going to affect other countries? Are we going to have a Type 90 situation where Japan, for some weird reason, has the most advanced vehicle? Well, I'm going to say no, because of some of the other things I'm about to talk about. So we have to take into account what other vehicles we could see along with this more advanced F-4. Perhaps a F-105, I believe there are some files hinting towards that found a while back. I'll say it's a brave new world that we're coming to. So what am I hinting towards is there was a list of other things that seem to be coming along with this new Phantom. First thing listed on this list was, of course, the JASDF F-4JE revised model, which, well, yeah, that's the jet. And then after that was engine operation engine sounds, which is a poor translation, but I'm assuming they just mean that you're going to get some really good engine sounds for the Phantom. After that was the Kaiser Mk808 HUD, which I was having a really hard time figuring out exactly what it is, but from what I can assume it is just a heads-up display, probably one of the cool ones for the modern jets, which would be really neat to see in War Thunder, especially in Sim if you had a VR headset. After that is the Type 90 air-to-air missile AAM-3, which is a Japanese-developed air-to-air missile, kind of what you expect when a new jet comes, it's new missiles for it. The spooky part is that, according to the Wikipedia page, it has officially operated since 1991, which is rather modern compared to a lot of other air-to-air missiles we have on jets. However, if you think about it, it's not too big of a deal. We have really modern air-to-air missiles on helicopters, so a bit of a different situation, but not exactly something new to the game, I guess. I only got up the Wikipedia page, and I don't really have time to do a deeper search, so I don't really know of the stats, like the G-pull this thing can pull and whatnot. The next one, I'm telling you, you gotta hold on to your pants real quick. Get your boots on. If you're a tanker, pull out an umbrella. This is gonna be explosive. Was the Type 91 Bomb Guidance System GCS-1. You may be thinking, oh, that's just a cool bombing reticle, nothing to be scared of. You're wrong. I found out actually exactly what it is on the Mitsubishi F-1 page of Wikipedia. I quote, "In addition, the Mark 28 and M117 bombs can be fitted with a infrared guidance kit, turning into a precision-guided weapon that home in on heat radiation emitted from seaborne targets such as ships or other ground-based targets. When fitted with this kit, the bomb becomes known as the GCS-1. So yes, guided bombs, and not like silly ones from World War II. Full-on guided ordnance, it seems like, are coming, which is quite a lot, because, well, at least modern ones can get pretty accurate. Though you might be saying, oh, this is just going to be another target for my AT-ATs or whatever. Perhaps, although the next item on the list should still concern you, the ECM Pod AN/ALQ-131. What is that? Well, it's not a bomb, it's not a gun, it's quite possibly exactly what this game doesn't need and needs at the exact same time. Stated on the website of the National Museum of the United States Air Force, the ALQ-131 is an active electronic communication ECM pod designed to provide aircraft self-protection against radar threats. The ALQ-131 accomplishes this by responding with a countermeasure of noise, repeated, or transponder electronic jamming techniques. The pod weighs 600 pounds with modular design for multiple frequency band capability. It has an ability to be quickly reprogrammed against changing threats. The ALQ-131 is used by the A-10, F-16, and F-111 aircraft. At face value, this sounds like it wouldn't be too effective against the AT-ATs, as those are laser guided, and this thing seems to throw off radar guidance. However, why would it be throwing off radar guidance if the only thing that could counter them is some radar spags? Perhaps, I don't know, maybe we're gonna see some radar guided ordnance like the bombs I talked about earlier. Though honestly, what I'm just trying to say is the future of War Thunder is gonna be quite terrifying, especially for ships, because I have a good feeling that anti-ship missiles are coming regardless of what guidance tests put out. And through my own tests of ramming a ship with the jet, you actually can shoot down the jet before the missile hits you. However, most missiles are smaller than jets, and the missile would probably have a more constant speed than when I was pulling off with a jet. So I'd say it's still pretty unclear. I want to do some more tests. But against 2 or 3 anti-ship missiles, well, your Admiral Hipper is going to be at the bottom of the ocean. What's most of it interesting to know is actually last year around this time, early January, there was another Japanese vehicle announced by DMM. It was the Type F-1 Kai. And just about everything that page claimed it was coming did come with the vehicle. So I think it's pretty clear that we are going to get ECMs and radar-guided bombs. I'd assume also we'd get things like flares and other more simplistic countermeasures. Although with all the more and more modern things coming out, I wonder if one day the game will just play itself. Like you'll log into a match and then you just sit there, the tank goes and finds the enemies and shoots them down, and you just go and make coffee or something. Although I bet today you could actually just make coffee with your smartphone. Let's talk about this event vehicles. I'm going to go from the best to the worst, starting off with the J6K1. My first impression of the plane that was actually pretty good. However, this is entirely wrong. The plane is actually amazing. It's at 6.0. It plays a lot like an N1K1J. However, it has more horsepower and turns faster, and of course has more guns. Its rate of climb isn't really anything to write home about. It's not like one of those crazy planes that you go and change the YouTube video and then you're at the stratosphere. But at 16 meters per second, it'll get you up there. The guns being Type 99 Mark II 20mm cannons aren't exactly the greatest 20mm cannons out there, but they're not terrible. I'd prefer MG151s, but you can still get the job done with these, especially with 6 of them. I just find the universal bells to be best on this one, and for the 13.2s, I like to take ground targets because you're not really going to use these to kill planes, so they're better off destroying ground targets. Besides that, there's not too much else to say about this plane. It's an N1K1, but better at the same battle rating. It's very maneuverable. You can easily outturn most of the opponents you run into. You might have trouble with some Spitfires, but a little brain power, you'll be able to outmaneuver them. The other issue you might have trouble with, you're going to run into some early jets. Most of it you actually don't really need to worry about because the early jets are kind of awful, but you should be cautious of the occasional F-80 and the 2 262s that you'll find yourself facing. Now luckily, both of those 262s have very little ammunition, so if you can outmaneuver them for long enough, it's possible to run out of ammo. But what I find works on all jets when you're in a prop is to keep turning, because the jets can't turn, so they'll keep booming and zooming you, and eventually their engine starts to fall apart. At that point, they'll either try to land, which gives you an opportunity to gain some altitude to drop on them when they got to airfield, or they'll keep fighting you like an idiot and their plane will lose a considerable amount of speed. I guess the only other issue you're going to have in this aircraft is bombers going to space. Now you do have a considerable amount of firepower, so you'll be able to blow them off. Always go for the wingtips. But thanks to your not so amazing climb rate, it'll take you a bit to get up there. But generally, I would say that this is one of the vehicles that if you care at all about this event, should be looking out for. Either the sell, because it's a really good aircraft, so it'll probably sell for a good amount, or just to have yourself, because it's going to be a good aircraft. Next is the Merkava Mk2B, which I was considerably disappointed, but not too surprised about. Easiest way to put this is a Merkava Mark I with infrared, more smoke grenades, and a tiny bit more armor added on, but at 9.0. If you liked the Merkava Mark I, here's another one, and you probably get up tiered to the 9.3 anyway, thanks to all the XM1s in the US lineups. Has the same ammo and a bit more horsepower. The additional smoke grenades are nice because you can black out the whole spot in front of you if you need to repair, and the infrared is really nice for people who are blind as a deaf bat like me. But in the land of Leo L44s and XM1s, this thing is not that impressive at all. The extreme survivability can only really be pulled off against heat rounds and APHE and stuff like that, which you mostly go up against APFSDS, and that stuff doesn't care about any of the gimmicks you're trying to pull off. The engine being in front of your tank can be a real issue with infrared, as it shows you right where you are, unlike when it's in the back or you have the majority of the tank to kind of cover up that heat signature. As for the last vehicle of this event, the Type 1924 Jaguar, well, it's a 1924 Leopard, the first destroyer in the German tree, but with 2 more 20mm cannons for anti-air defense, and smaller main cannons. And those smaller main cannons really make this ship a letdown. You can get quite a lot done with the 105s, but I very much prefer the 5-inch guns. And if you really want to play around with 105s, you could take out the Type M 1943, minus one 105 gun, and spawn in the boat spawn and make all the boats suffer until they pull out the PGO2. But the Type M also has a lower battle rating, which will make you run into things like the Porter a whole lot less, which by the way has more than double the number of cannons you have. Upon those, their guns are bigger. Perhaps the Jaguar is just a unfortunate victim of the extreme compression that goes on in Navy. At the end of the day, it is a premium and it's a destroyer, so if you want more premium destroyers to help you get through the German tree, here's a free one if you care to grind out part of your soul. Personally, I expect not as many people to grind this one out, as it just obviously looks very disappointing, and therefore it should probably actually go for a higher price on the market, as according to the rules of supply and demand. And that's all the news I have for you this week. Before I sign this video out, first I'd like to thank my YouTube members: The Royal Rat, CT Center, Grimace, Samurai, I Like 'em Thick, Edie Nahui Sukabliet, Mighty Peppers, Pointless Gunsticks, and Waffly Joker 6. A big thank you to all of you. YouTube members get videos uploaded a little early, unique Discord roles, and unique emojis on streams. So if you'd like to join them, it's $5 a month. All you have to do is hit the join button down below. But if you have any comments, concerns, or questions about the video, be sure to hit me up down below or on my Discord. If you've liked the video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I make War Thunder Weekly news videos every Sunday. This one's a bit late because I streamed yesterday, or at least what I perceive as yesterday. My sleeping patterns are kind of messed up right now, and I'm working on fixing them, don't worry. I make random videos throughout the week, and I like to stream on Saturdays, so be sure to hit that bell icon to be notified anytime I upload anything. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. In the terms of bonus news, there is no bonus news.